Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first live episode of. You guys ready for this? Let's all together here, all together. Arcade Parlor. It's not good. There, guys. I don't think it's there.
That was a little rough.
This episode 10. Some of us have been here, 10 episodes and a trailer. And we still can't do it. One of these days.
For that one, I was in my belly. Maybe that made it worse. All right, I'll stay out of my belly next time. That's my bad. I let down Dan, Ashley. I'm sorry.
Welcome in to our listeners. This is episode 10 of Arcade Parlor. The date today is June 10th. It is now 3:44 p.m. Eastern, and we're doing this live. This is our very first live episode, twitch.tv/arcade parlor. That's where we're on right now. In the future, if you want to catch one of these live ones, we're still publishing them. But if you want to catch these, follow the channel. Tune in. We'll be live. I am your host, David, also known as Poncho Taco, twitch.tv/Poncho Taco. And around the room here with me, I have... I'll start where we typically start, right at the top. Ashley, hello. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing wonderful. So good to be here today.
Let's hear it. Okay. Well, actually, I think the tides have turned. How is that Florida weather? Are we still jealous of the Florida weather?
I don't think you would be. We're in hurricane season right now, so it has just been rainy and dreary and in the mid 90s. So if you felt like walking outside and just being wet, you just come to Florida. That's the heat will get you.
I'm not at all jealous. Is anybody else here jealous of Florida heat this time of year? I
see a lot of heads shaking over here. Also, I just wanted to make sure we gave everybody the full date today. I know we said that the recording day is June 10th. We forgot the year. It is 0 AT. It is 0 after Tears of the Kingdom, of course.
Is this a new time measurement? AT?
In my world, absolutely it is. And I just want to make note that it is 29 days since Tears of the Kingdom has come out today. And the day this episode drops on Monday, it will officially be 1 month since the world was blessed with The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom.
Amazing.
All right. This is okay. This is what we're talking. In 1 year, it'll be 1 AT.
Yes,
AT.
Exactly.
We'll keep that going. We'll keep that going for you, Ashley.
Okay.
Ashley, welcome again. Yes. Ashley, welcome again. Welcome back. Happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Cheese Pops, we got you here also.
I'm just going to say this. Who cares about me? Because we have an absolute legendary guest with us. And I just want to hear him talk and be beautiful and amazing. And I'm so excited. I've already talked too much. Get me out of here.
I'm already excited to have Hammer Brother Dave on. Was it Hammer Brother Jake? I don't even...
it was a good name for 10 seconds.
It was good.
Yes.
Hammer Suit Jake, the hamster.
The hamster, yeah. Cheese Pops, I love doing this. I'm so excited. I'm just going to be a fanboy this entire time. Just don't mind me. This is going to be excellent.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to our guest, our 9th guest, episode 10, 9th guest, 8th guest. We've done 2 without guests, I think. I don't know. Maybe 7. I don't know. It's our next guest. GDQ champion, should I say, TanukiDan. Welcome on the podcast.
Thank you for having me here. Happy to be here. I'm Ashley, Florida.
Stop it.
This is going to be good.
I count my years using Tears of the Kingdom.
The best impression ever.
It's like there's 2 Ashleys in here right now.
It's magical. It's wonderful. I'm TanukiDan. Nice to meet you all.
Dan, awesome to have you on here. I know we have some super awesome stuff to talk about really soon. Super excited. We know you were just at GDQ last week. Some awesome stuff happened for you there, and super excited to hear about some of that in a little bit here. Absolutely. Guys, it's summer.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm ready for
officially
winter.
summer. You're ready?
I'm ready for winter.
We went through a hot spell a week and a half ago where it was like 90 for like a week straight here in Michigan. And then well, today it's 84, but the past while it's been in the low 70s, which hasn't been too bad. But summer's actually here. I'm seeing like my nieces and nephews, like they're out of school, and I'm like, man, I wish I had 3 months off right now.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
I love summer, and today is a very special day. It begins my birthday month. So I am unbearable most days of the year. But around my birthday is my wife's least favorite time of the year. Because I'm like, ooh, I want this. Ooh, I want this. Ooh, I want this. Ooh, let's do this. It's my birthday month. You got to do what I say. And
there's a billion things coming out right now too.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So much.
And I love barbecuing. July 4th is so much fun for me because you just fire up the grill, hopefully have some good weather and just chill. And then a few days later, it's my birthday. I am unreasonable at this time of year, and it is my favorite. And then once the day after my birthday happens, the wife is like, you are not allowed to speak to me for at least 1 week.
I miss that. I miss when seasons like spring and fall were a thing that actually happened, like where it would slow build up into summertime. Now it's just like, all right, cool. You get one cool day and now it's 100 degrees.
Yep.
Yes.
Record-breaking heats every year. I'm so sick of it. I hate it.
that absolutely just like here where I'm at, it was like 50 degrees at its warmest. And then it hit 60 and things just started growing like crazy. Grass, like it was growing out of control. And then overnight, like all the grass just died. Like everybody's lawn is just dead. It's all
dried
brown.
out and dead. It's gone.
Yeah. And it's just like, oh, geez.
I'm glad I'm not grass right now.
That Dave's the dad in the group because he's talking about his lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, hashtag dad things.
Just dad things.
How often do you walk the perimeter to make sure everything is like good? Because you have to do that. Do you do it at night, the morning, right when you come home from work? When is the perimeter check to make sure everything passes dad standards?
I do like to look out our front window at the nicely like edged yard and everything. And I do admire it quite a bit. I look at it. I'm done mowing. I'm done edging, done weed whacking, and I just stand out there, hands on my hips, just looking at the work that I've done.
How do you acknowledge your good work? Do you give a subtle nod, or just is it all internal?
Subtle nod, and then I go to 7-Eleven and get a Slurpee right afterwards.
Perfect.
I deserve that Slurpee. I deserve it.
Extra large with the bubble. Do they still have the bubble lids?
The dome?
Yep.
Why did Slurpees get the dome lid? Like, why did they? You know what? This is not enough for this. Is it because they won't leak out?
I think so.
Or
if it's pure liquid, I think because of the way it goes over the sides, right? So it's not like inside of it. It's over the sides. I think if it was liquid, it would probably. I don't know. Next time I'm there, maybe I'll just fill it up with trust.
Those bubble lids make me nervous every time.
Me too.
They are, yeah.
Me too.
If we were ever in the same place, any of my Ashley, Dan, I'm like, do you have extra bubble lids for these guys just to get the anxiety through the roof? Regular lid for me. These guys want the bubble lid.
Well, I'll tell you, when you've had as many Slurpees as I have, you kind of build a relationship with these lids, and the intent, like they're integrity. They have integrity, and I trust them over all these years. Yes, I absolutely trust them with my life. I would trust these lids.
Dan, are you a Slurpee fan?
Accidents. I've had too many accidents with the bubble lids in my adulthood. I'm not sure if it's just like the come and go, specifically bubble lids, but I no longer trust them. I flat lid it all the way now.
Same.
Even with the Slurpee?
Even with the Slurpee.
That's unbelievable.
Unless it's an official Icee brand, unless it's Icee, they're the only bubble lids I trust.
They are. That is a different consistency too. Yeah, the drink.
Yep.
It's different because like a gas station one, it's almost more liquidy. It's almost just like a frozen. There's something different about the
Icees are different.
One.
They're different. I'm not sure what it is but they're I don't know. They're like firmer yet softer at the same time. Maybe they just use extra carbonation and that's what causes it. No idea. But
Hopefully
they're wonderful.
Someone from Icee is listening to this podcast. Is like, we got to sponsor these guys.
Hit me up.
Right. I will put an Icee machine right here.
Yeah, right
and
there.
I will drink it. What is
Bring
red,
back
right?
the banana. I need banana flavor back. Give me my
What?
banana ices.
I've never had a
Tell the
banana
story.
Okay.
It tastes it tastes just like banana Laffy Taffy. So if you like banana Laffy Taffy, it's the best flavor. It's like the best Icee in the world.
I don't think I can. I can't get behind that. I can't.
My new goal is to try it.
It is my favorite flavor of anything ever.
Wow.
It's so
I think-
good.
Every road trip, I'm going to go into an Icee store, or like every gas station I go into.
Good luck finding
go up to-
banana.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. They have been like Icee like now only has like 4 flavors everywhere.
Well, it's red and blue, right? What else
Yep.
would they have?
Red,
Root
blue,
beer?
and Coca-Cola.
Oh, is it Coke? Okay, I couldn't remember if they partnered with Coke or Pepsi.
That's a shame.
Man, I feel like Pepsi would be really good with Icee because Icee is like Pepsi's sweeter, even though I think it actually has less sugar than Coke.
Yeah.
Does anyone actually like blue?
Like the blue raspberry or whatever flavor. Is that what you're talking
I mean,
about?
I do, but I'm always gonna if of the choices, I almost always gonna go cherry.
Yeah.
And they have like strawberry and white cherry, and I always go for the white cherry, unless they have banana, which is never.
I think my Icees around me are very different. with me, it's either like the Coke or the red. That's typically the only things that are offered at places by me. Unless I go to the movie theater, then they'll have the blue and stuff like that. But they don't have many around me for the Icee brand specifically. Ashley, you like banana stuff, right? You like banana flavored Slurpees and stuff, I think.
I knew you were going to say something. Now, Pancho and I have known each other a very long time on this platform, and I know that he has a very, very deep love for Slurpees. So he knows my Slurpee story, which is very quick because I've had one in my lifetime. But I was at work one day and I was like, oh, it's 7-Eleven today. They have free Slurpees. I've never had one. I want to say I was maybe like in my early 20s. I was like, I'm going to go to 7-Eleven. Now, I'm not like a big sweet person. I didn't grow up on like juice and all that stuff. And I had never had a Slurpee before. So I go in the 7-Eleven. I'm like, oh, which one do I want? I'm looking and I'm like, oh, banana. I like banana. Why not?
Oh,
and
no.
oh, it was my first one. I got it. I was all excited. And I walk out of the 7-Eleven. I get in my car and I shut the door. My music's cranking. I was like, yeah, my first sip ever of a Slurpee. Oh my God. I never spat something out so fast in my life. I don't think first of all, I didn't know it was carbonated. I had no clue. Slurpees were carbonated until that moment.
So you got hit with all sorts of feelings.
It was a lot. It was texturally a lot for me, and I have never, ever had a Slurpee since.
That's such a good moment. I love that Poncho set you up to immediately, like, one of the first things our amazing guest says is, I love banana Slurpees. Poncho's like, Ashley, you want to tell a story?
Oh, when people watch this video, if you watch this, because we're live right now, if you watch the VOD or if you watch this on YouTube, check out Poncho Taco's face as soon as Dan mentions a banana Icee, and because he knows he's gonna bring this up because when I told him this the first time, he was like, "It's because you had a banana one, bro."
do you like banana flavored like drinks and stuff, Ashley? Like, do you like the banana flavor a lot?
The only banana, it's actually funny because TanukiDan just said this. The only banana flavored thing that I like is banana Laffy Taffy. That's the only thing that I like that's banana flavored.
It's kind of, it's like, I wonder, was it an Icee brand that you had? Because I feel like there's one weird gas station banana flavoring I got myself. Just weird Walmart gas station had a banana thing. I was like, well, it's not an Icee, but I'm going to try it. And I remember it being garbage. So
yeah,
I'm wondering,
this was like an official Slurpee from it was on 7-Eleven, like free Slurpee day that I got it. So at least I didn't pay for it. But
the Icee one, if you ever see it, give it another shot because it tastes just like banana Laffy Taffy. And
I actually will.
Like, if anything, if you just see an Icee, because they're different. Icees are different.
They're
just so smooth and soft. Like it's almost like carbonated snow. It's so magical.
Ooh, okay. You have my word. I will try, and I will let everybody know if I see an Icee anywhere here in South Florida. I'll get it and let y'all know.
What if I just like secretly hate them? I'm just getting Ashley to do more things she's gonna hate.
we chatted about this offline beforehand.
Right.
Talk about banana flavored ices.
Actually, you gotta try this thing.
It's
You're
incredible.
gonna love it. It's so good.
They changed the recipe. No more plantains. Now it's 100% banana. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be so good.
Oh man, amazing. I don't know. That's I can't get behind banana flavored. Other than like a smoothie, like I could do banana like peanut butter smoothie, like that's good.
Oh yeah,
that's good.
Oh yeah,
but I think carbonation is it's the mix right there. When you get carbonation, I can't go any further with it.
I get it.
I like how a video game podcast, the first 20 minutes is banana Slurpee talk, and I couldn't be more for it.
I got some amazing banana Slurpee stories, to be honest. I pretty much my entire friend group in Arkansas started because of I was like I for a while I was working retail at Target. I was also working I was a second assistant in like Taco Bell, and I just got done being a funeral director, which is crazy, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in the funeral business anymore. I just want to do something a little bit more chill. And I went to the local Target, and they had the banana Icee, and that was the main reason I applied there. I was doing my interview, and I was talking with them. And I was like, I saw that the banana flavor is gone. When's that coming back? And literally like one of the first thing I asked him after saying, hey, you're hired. And that ended up being my manager directly over me. The man told her the story, and then we immediately became friends afterwards. And then now we're still friends to this day. She's like a mod in my channel and everything like that. Like we're just one of my best friends. It all started from banana Ices.
So that just shows how much research we do here at Arcade Parlor. We knew that. And actually, she's here right now. Do you want to? No, I'm just
I can talk about banana ices all day. That's one of my.
I think my favorite part here is like you said, you had just gotten her. You know, at that point, most people are like, okay, I have a vacation set for in a month from now. You know, it's non-refundable. I need these 2 days off or something like that. But no, it's when is the banana flavor coming back? When is it? That's the important stuff.
When's it coming back? It's just like, all right, you're hired. Cool. Now about this Icee.
Wasted no time.
So you said it after you were hired.
Yeah, after I was hired.
Okay.
Because I was like, all right, cool. I'm officially on the inside. They don't have to hide this information. They can be honest about whether it's coming back or not. I'm gonna know 100%. And he asked because he's like, you know what? We actually don't control the flavors. I learned a lot of inside information. Based on sales depends on what flavors they send out to the places like for Ices, or I'm assuming it's probably the same for a lot of like slushy places. Like, all right, this is doing good here. We're going to send it to these new stores and whatever. So I went undercover finding out about the banana Ices. Like I went in deep.
Do you know how many red flags if you were an interviewer and you're doing that thing that like the exercise they do where they're like, well, do you have any questions for us? When is the banana flavored Icee coming back?
Exactly. That's kind of how I did it. It was pretty similar to that. I changed tone and everything. I was like a big smile on my face, and they're like,
went real serious.
Got real serious real fast.
So good.
I'm crying.
He started laughing immediately. He was like, what? It was so good.
Brian never had a single person ever ask about the bananas Icee in the history of that store. Anybody, customers,
I was the only
anybody.
one. That's part. Whenever he would tell the story to other people, he'd be like, "I've never had anyone ask me about that freaking banana flavor ever, ever." And it became like whenever I was introduced to people, I was the banana Icee guy. Like no joke. It's actually why. So on my channel, one of my mascots is a banana, and it's literally ties into my love for banana flavored things.
This lore. Look at this lore we get on this podcast. This is amazing. We love lore.
I never knew how connected we really were just through slushed carbonated banana.
It's the small things. You never know. You never know.
I've never won more in my entire life. Like I need to try. This is now like my holy grail, the banana Icee.
I'm making everyone want this product that almost doesn't exist anymore. Like, good luck. I was its only fan. It's gone.
It's terrible. And no one it tested poorly, but the person that approved it's like, there's gonna be one guy. We're gonna change his life.
I haven't seen it. I'm like looking it up now and trying to find somewhere that has banana Ices. And like the last post about one was like 2017.
It's gonna be at like a Godfather's Pizza in Utah. That's it.
I'm on my way.
Way out somewhere.
Gotta go. I gotta start driving, so I gotta cut this short. Thanks for having me.
Gotta get
the
that
last
banana
remaining Kmart.
Oh my god!
Oh, amazing, amazing.
The last Blockbuster has one.
Yes, that's where it's at. It's that Blockbuster.
Oh my god!
Get that with your copy of, I don't know, Planet of the Apes as you're going out. Well, Dan, again, welcome into the podcast here. Super happy to have you here. I know we have a lot of stuff to talk about here. And
mainly banana Ices.
Yeah. There is more to this episode than just banana Ices, believe it or not.
Don't let them lie to you. GDQ is secretly about banana Ices. That's the only reason I went.
It's backed by big banana Icee.
Big banana. You can't escape them. They're after you.
That one guy sitting there. They're onto us.
They're onto us. How did he find out? See, I asked. I got the information. As soon as I got hired, I got you now. This is all a trick to get Ashley to try banana Ices.
It really is. Yeah. None of this is true, Ashley.
It's working.
Again, Dan, welcome in. Super happy to have you on here, and I know our listeners have been excited for this too. When we put it out there, a lot of people talking about it, getting excited for this. So, again, on behalf of Arcade Parlor, welcome aboard. Let's have a good time. I'm already having a good time. Let's keep it going.
I'm down.
So Dan, you are obviously Twitch streamer. You have other avenues also of providing content and stuff like that. You want to tell us where you started from? Did you start on Twitch first? Did you start somewhere else? And how you got to where you are right now?
So I pretty much, it's kind of a sad story. When I started out, I started making like YouTube videos many years ago with my brother Brad. Now he's super shy, way better at everything. Like he's way better at music, way better at like production quality. He kind of set stuff up. And he's always like, "Oh, you're so funny, Dan. Let's do this. Let's make this edited game reviews, angry video game nerd style." Because everyone and their grandma would try to do like video game reviews, like, "Oh, this game sucks," blah blah blah, whatever. And I was like, I'm very wishy-washy, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be good at doing that, And he always tried to push me to do it. And about 6 years ago now, he lost his fight with depression. And that's when I kind of went from, I should have been doing all these things with him. I should have been making all these memories with him. And that's when I started like streaming, because back when it was just in TV, just Justin.tv before it was even Twitch, Brad was always like, "Hey, you should do this. You'd be so good at streaming." Because I'd always be like, I'm a musician, and my shield at parties would be to pick up a guitar and do like a little improv song, because it was easier than having a conversation with someone. I could do something observational. "Hey, person over there drinking a beer," or whatever. It was much easier for me. I used to be really shy. I used to have anxiety real bad. And I was like, well, now that Brad's not here, I really feel like I need to prove him right. I needed to do that for me. So after I lost him, I started streaming, and I started doing like edited videos again. I started like recording music again, like making albums and stuff like that. And it just kind of carrying his memory got me to where I am today. I'm a partner on both YouTube and Twitch. And it pretty much is all just in love and memory of my brother.
That's awesome. That's really beautiful. That is awesome.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I never knew that about you, and you have like one of the most positive communities that I've ever been a part of, and that's really beautiful. I never knew what drove you, and really really cool to hear that side of the story.
That's like on my card of things to talk about, like how welcoming your stream is. Like you pop in there, just say hi. Like the community, the culture you've created. So many people say hi, what's up, and it's not just super polite hi. It's like, hey, fun, we're buddies now. Hi,
what's
welcome
up?
in.
Yeah.
This is how we make fun of each other. You're more than welcome to make fun of us, and it's such a positive way. And I think there's so many people that want that, like not the cookie cutter welcome, but the welcome buds. We're willing to josh each other. And it's just the cool, your community that you have there. It makes like, cause I didn't know that story either. It just makes so much sense now. Like, hey, going from a place of shyness to anxiety, like how would I feel included in this? And you do it so well. You do it so well. You kill it, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you. It's definitely deliberate. I really, as someone who, it's everyone's always thought I was nice. Like my entire life, I've always worried about. I was like, oh, what if I was actually rude, or what if I actually made someone else feel unincluded? To add an addendum to that, I was homeschooled till I was 13, so I didn't have many friends. And then going to public school, having to learn to talk to people, and how it felt to be like lonely or to feel like you had no friends. And I definitely do my best to ensure that I approach every person coming in as someone who might have shared those feelings. Maybe they feel lonely. Maybe they have anxiety. Maybe they have suffered from depression. Now, I want to make sure that every person that comes in to my stream feels welcome. And I do my very best to, like, I'll still be a little lewd and crude sometimes. I swear. I'm like, today we're not gonna, I'm keeping it PG, but I swear, just if anyone does come into my stream, I do swear, but generally we keep things pretty wholesome and friendly. And I really do my best to ensure that every person who comes in, unless you're just outright a person you don't want around, unless it's just outright like a jerk, and I'm just like, I'm like very quick to be like, oh, banned, like send me an unbanned request in a few months if you want, I guess. Generally, if you have to be pretty crappy to upset me most of the time, but I really do my best to make sure no one feels like I used to feel. That's
I appreciate you letting me back in too. I know that was my bad at the
start. So when did you say that you first started streaming? When was that?
I want to say maybe like 6 years ago.
Okay.
I think it's 6 years ago. Like it was I had started up an account like a few months before, and did like a test stream in like December, I want to say 2018. But it could have been longer than that now. Like, I have ADHD, so my dates and stuff like that just gone.
I hear you.
I had to be reminded of my sister's birthday, even though like we had them together for like 20 years.
Oh man, I'm horrible with family members' birthdays. Like I for some reason my brother's always sticks in my head, and my mom's does because she's the day before me. Her birthday is. And then my sister, my dad, I can never remember their birthdays until it's like the day of. Like I think I think I finally put it in my Google Calendar to like alert me a week before or something like that. I think I finally did do that, so I do get a notification that there's a birthday coming. Like, oh, okay. And now I have nieces and nephews, and I don't know. My wife tells me when it's their birthdays. I don't know what it is. It's like send $20. Everything. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan, at what point when you started streaming, because you were, I'm assuming, still working and all that stuff, how long was it like into your stream journey that you were like, whoa, I need to start taking this seriously and like quit jobs and like focus on just this?
I pretty much waited until I was partner, really. Like, yeah. I as nearing like the last year of that partner grind, I was only working at Target at the time. So I dropped Taco Bell, and I dropped the studio in Hot Springs, Arkansas that I was doing work at. So I ended up like going from I was working literally 60 hours a week and then streaming three days a week, like for like 2 or 3 hours, and not really getting any growth from that because that's just like how Twitch works. If you're only streaming a couple days a week, a couple hours, you're not ever gonna get anywhere. And as I started getting past that threshold of getting past that like the 10 average viewers, like once you get past that threshold, I was like, all right, cool, I'm making enough to justify streaming more hours. I grew up poor, so I'm always going to be like, I'm not ever going to drop anything until I'm 100% feeling safe for it.
Sure. Definitely. Did you start with Mario streaming? Like Mario,
No.
what were you doing first?
So there's a second half of my username that I can't say because of PG stream, but the originally my username comes from my love of games like Pocky and Rocky and Mystical Ninja. If you know anything about Tanuki lore, you know why I can't say the rest of it. Just if you are curious about yokai lore, it's definitely a very interesting stuff. You get to know more about Tom Nook from Animal Crossing, right? But I originally started streaming games from Japan, Japan only games and board games, oddly enough.
Wow.
Really?
I didn't start playing Mario until my little sister, she moved to South Korea and she's like, hey, I got these games I'm not gonna be playing. You should play Mario Maker because I used to play, our entire childhood was Mario. So I even learned how to type and read and do math because of Mario, because once again I was homeschooled.
Wow.
So like I got the state's fastest typer award. My mom has the trophies. I'll have to get a picture of them sometime. 216 words per minute for 1 minute typings. Whoa. And 197 words per minute for 3 minute typings. And it's all because Mario teaches typing. I just obsessively type on it. And my older sister, when she was in the same grade, she also got the typing award. So of course I didn't keep up with what her words per minute were. I just kept up with mine. But while I was learning math, my mom was doing this thing. It's like, all right, so if a Goomba's worth 100 points and you step on 2 Goombas, how many points do you have? And we had this chalkboard door that I would do math on. I was like, oh, that's 200 points. And then she's like, all right, so if you beat this level, and she started eventually making it word problems because my mom was a teacher, homeschooled. Sure. And it's like, oh, you have 300 seconds on the clock. Each second's worth this many points, and you jumped on this many Goombas, and I'd have to do the math of it. So Mario was very huge in my family, but I was also broke. So I didn't have, when Mario Maker 1 came out, I was like, I can't just go buy it.
Yeah.
My little sister gave me her copy and I just started playing it. And I wasn't even still then, I wasn't too much of a Mario Maker streamer just yet because I was just like still trying to figure it out. I didn't get like 1 billion viewers still at that point. And the thing that kind of made me become a Mario Maker streamer was I've been a big fan of Carl Sagan 42 pretty much, I guess, like 9 years now. I'm trying to remember when he did a Yoshi Island run for Games Done Quick. I was watching that, and I discovered that after finding PJ doing a speed run of Lagoon, this really awful Super Nintendo game that I have a deep love for. But anyway, I was about to do my very last stream. It was the day after Valentine's Day because I was about to have to get another job. I was working 3 jobs and I was about to try to look for a 4th. I was like, I'm going to have 0 time to stream. Yeah. I was going to have to give it up. I was about to sell all my music gear. And that day, Carl Sagan 42 raided me with like 2,000 people. And I was like, holy crap, my favorite streamer to watch, my favorite content creator to watch just raided me. And I sang him a song. And like I welcomed him in. I was shaking. I was nervous. Wow. And he immediately was like, whoa, no one's ever just sang a song for me before. Whenever I get rated or I get a bunch of subs on my channel, I'm like, oh, here's an improv song as a thank you, because music is my shield. I'll pick up my guitar. It makes my anxiety go down. It makes it easier for me to welcome people in and give a little something back as well. Just like, hey, here's something just for you. And Carl's like, this is the first time anyone's done something like this. He made it rain some gift subs, and his entire community ended up giving me like 3 paychecks worth of like tips, donations, and subs. And I was like, oh, okay, well, now I don't have to get a 4th job. I don't have to sell all my music equipment. So like literally in one stream, I was like, well, they said in his chat, like a bunch of people in his chat was like, well, you're a Mario Maker streamer now. And I was like, okay. I was like,
Cool.
if that's what y'all want, I love this game. I just couldn't find an audience no matter what I did. I feel like I've always been the same person. I've always been friendly. I've always done like music. I feel like I've always done stuff that's a little bit different than a lot of streamers do. A lot of streamers like, I feel like Cheese Pops has gotten to the point, and it actually also does ways to really kind of break out of that typical, just like, oh, just watch me play the game. Okay, bye. It's a community. We're all just hanging out. We're all doing stuff. We go to other scenes and we really pull people into the conversation. We're not just like, oh, you watch me play a game now. Okay, bye. You know, like, we actually care. We actually care about people. Oddly enough,
I'm not good enough at the game to do that, because if it was
all in gameplay.
Like, nope, we're out.
Yep. But yeah, that's pretty much like I went from originally games from Japan and board games, and then Carl's community saved the stream and made me a Mario Maker streamer. And I feel like I'm actually kind of slowly getting back to what I used to do, which was playing indie games and games from Japan and stuff like that. And I'm trying to figure out ways to make my way back to getting exposure to these more hidden games that a lot of people in America never played. Well, it's been crazy. It's a crazy journey.
2 things for you. Number 1, you ruined my day when you brought up word problems, because I forgot about those. And as a kid from Pittsburgh, those were I'm not a smart guy, TanukiDan. And 2 + 2, I got it. But 2 apples plus 2 bananas, I'm out. I don't understand. This is not numbers. But second, if you had to recommend one Japan only game, what would you say? Like, I'm more of a retro dude. Like, what? Not to put you on the spot, but I would love to try something.
So have you ever played Mystical Ninja?
I have.
Maybe.
Ganbare Gohan 2, which is the second Super Nintendo Mystical Ninja, is absolutely wonderful.
Is that with Goemon? Am I thinking of the right series? Okay,
That's
yeah,
it.
I played one of them for like 2 hours straight one day. I want to get back into it. I love the RPG platforming. I love that mix.
Also, if you like Zelda, Gunpul, like Gunman's Proof, it's like Western Zelda is the best way I can really kind of like describe it. Like it's very lighthearted, goofy and fun, but very Zelda, very puzzly. It's super duper good.
Excellent. That's so cool. And now, like, I already liked Carl before. Now, like, I'm in love with him apparently, because the fact that he's
I
not
wouldn't be
only
streaming today.
No, that's
his
awesome.
Not for
content,
him.
your content. That's insane. That's so cool. Shout out to him.
I feel like I have a billion different moments of where if just one thing was slightly different, everything would be completely different.
Yeah, it was meant to be.
I did a thing in stream the other day. I was playing Spelunky before I got the Hundun run. I literally said in chat, I was like, hey, I will do one more attempt if someone gives 1 bit. And I did that. Someone gave 1 bit and I did the attempt. And I was like, hey, we beat it. That 1 bit changed everything. Because if no one gave a bit, I was just going to end stream.
Right.
That's how little you have to do to completely change everything. It's just 1 bit. You know, one thing, one tiny thing, one word, one tiny thing changes everything completely.
It shocks me there's an alternate reality universe out there where you are a mortician. I just would never have predicted that. Like, you know, I can't see it. You're so bright and vibrant. You play video games, and the last thing I would think of is funeral home director. Like, that's
I was embalmer funeral director for 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Everything led you here.
Never would have suspected that.
Still like to meet that guy. I'm wondering what his personality is, you know.
Very similar to
very
this.
similar.
I was really good about being there for people. I originally wanted to be a nurse or a doctor, but I was thinking like, man, if I accidentally, like if someone died under me, it would haunt me.
Yeah.
Even if it wasn't my fault. And I was like, well, crap, I learned all these things about drawing blood and where all these vital points of the body were. And I was like, well, hey, you know what that actually works really good for? Embalming. I was like, oh, I can't kill them now. They're already dead. I got this.
True. I hope you're not killing them.
Yeah, at least I hope. We always double check, but and then the rest of it was just being for people in one of their roughest spots. You know, I didn't quit the job because I did dislike the work or anything like that. I ended up quitting the job just because my boss was crazy. I couldn't handle the boss. But the work itself, being there for people, are there's just so many memories I have that I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. There was one where this is just a very important one to me. Was a little girl lost her mom, and I started asking her about like what her hobbies were and what she was into, and she said that she liked singing songs for her mom. She played guitar, and it's a little 7-8-year-old girl. And I was like, oh well, I'm a musician. I was like, do you have any picks at home? Well, she's like, no, I don't have any picks. I lost them all. And she came from a home like kind of a hoarder house. Like the mom wasn't in the best of health, and her living situation wasn't exactly the best.
Mhm.
And I had a whole handful of picks. So I said, put these in your pocket and take this pick and play a song just for your mom tonight. And this little girl just like face lit up, and she walked up to the casket and started talking to her mom. It's like, I'm gonna play you a song tonight. I got some new picks, and it just like that will forever be with me forever.
Dan, you warm my belly so much. This is why your stream is so good. Like, you're a good soul. You make the world a better place. I am so pumped to be sitting here talking to you, dude. Like, man, you're incredible.
I have to add on to that quickly because the word warm, are you ever in your home and you turn the AC down too low and you're freezing, and there's that moment where like you sit on the couch with like a warm blanket and it's the best feeling ever? That is a TanukiDan stream for me. Like, I'm the youngest Twitch account that's sitting in this room right now. And I remember the days when I first got onto Twitch and I didn't know any streamers, and I heard about TanukiDan and I was so intimidated to go in there. I was like, oh, he's this big streamer. Like, I don't want to go in there. Like, I'm never going to get heard. I knew nothing. And then it took me way too long to actually go to a TanukiDan stream. And I will never forget the first time I was acknowledged. The mod said hello to me, and I was like, why did I not come here sooner? I felt like family on day one, and I don't want to, sit here and just compliment you all day long, but I really could, because that's how good you feel in a TanukiDan stream. So thank you for your beautiful community and the atmosphere that you created, because it's really made you a role model in the Mario Maker community for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I feel like someone needs to say something mean.
Yeah, me too.
Anjo, you're up.
I can't say anything mean. I mean, he's got his perfect hair. I can't.
Right?
I mean, I can't even make fun of the hair. I can't do anything.
It's so funny, like the bald Mario community versus the hair Mario community, and then you have those in the middle who are the balding Mario community. We can't forget the balding. We're so inclusive of everybody, but I feel like we're a hair room right now.
Yeah,
we're a room full of hair.
The hat, it's good. It's 100% bald.
You have that look right here, and it's just really long.
This complete ball, just all the way around.
Yes. Oh, the skullet.
The skullet.
So
jokes
Dan,
like that are the only reason Cheese Pop's got a partner.
Yeah, that's it. So Dan,
my gameplay is superb.
You've been on Twitch for a while, and last week, being a I don't know the word to use, being a person who's been on Twitch for a while, well known. Obviously, you went to an event last week of GDQ, Games Done Quick. How was that? How was that for you? I mean, you went there for a couple days, right?
Yep, it was absolutely amazing. We as a whole, the community ended up raising like $2.3 million for Doctors Without Borders, which is absolutely amazing.
That's awesome.
This is my second time getting to be a part of SGDQ, my second time running. But this is my first time being a part of the winning team for the relay race. It was absolutely phenomenal. The year before, I had some issues. I used to always use like a PlayStation 5 controller, and then before that, I had a modded PlayStation 4 controller with segmented D-pad that I used for playing Mario Maker, because I didn't want to use joystick. But the first year, I was on team with Aura and Just Cook, two awesome, huge maker streamers that my controller wasn't working with the adapter we had to use because COVID was still like super hot on everyone's minds in 2022. And so like, all right, well, we can't pass the controller. So we're using this adapter to where everyone's controller that was connected acted as controller one. And my modified controller was not working. So I had to use a pro controller for the first time. And I just felt awful because like I was hitting wrong buttons. I feel like my gameplay just looked terrible. It wasn't good representation of me as a player. And, you know, even still, like even this year, I feel like I didn't play my absolute best, but I had my moments. I got a level clear. I was really good about seeing what to do while in the moment. I was really good when I wasn't playing, being like, hey, you should do this. Hey, you need to do this kind of movement here. And then like, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. I see it now. And so I was actually got to feel like I was involved with the victory this year. The year before, I felt like I was to blame for the loss. This year, I got to feel like I was part of the victory. I was really part of the team, and I got to be a part of, you know, raising money for a good cause. And it was just one of my favorite events, period. You know, like I just love Games Done Quick. So getting to not only be part of this huge charity event, but to actually be do well felt amazing. I'm really glad that I got to be a part of that. And also for everyone, this team maker here, the Mario Maker teams, we brought in so much money just for the relay race alone.
Yes, I saw
Peak
that. It was
viewership.
incredible.
Peak viewership was for the relay. Like the Mario Maker, let's go. We rocked it. We rocked it.
Whoever says Mario Maker is a dead game, check the numbers from GDQ because that segment was so hype. And let me say one more thing before we continue about GDQ, because as somebody who was watching the whole time, everybody knew the name TanukiDan during that relay race, because you not only did you have the one clear for your team, which was so hype, but the information that you got for your team, like the announcers were like, oh, look at TanukiDan, he's just playing so well. Like, I mean, you were a superstar, and I thought you played so well. Even the moments where you weren't the one who cleared the level, you made it so far. And it's funny, like for people who are watching, we don't get to know like or hear you guys talking to each other and figuring things out together, like, you know, so it's kind of cool to hear the lore of like, you know, everyone kind of doing the whispers and figuring things out together.
I really feel like us talking together too is the main reason that we were able to pull out the win overall, because I mean, we were going against Thab, Aura, Panga, like literally those names are the legends of Mario Maker. Like they're like pretty much it wouldn't have been much worse having Barb thrown in there, Grand Pooh Bear. We were going against the elites, you know, and everyone on our team was kind of the newer group. Like we were the newer Twitch partners, you know, like we were the newer Twitch streamers going against these well-known legends for years. And I actually have a very interesting moment. Like, so Grand Pooh Bear came in, he's like, all right, who's my team? And he was the team leader of Panga, Thab, Aura, and Casper. And he was like, oh, got it. Yeah, cool. Already done. We already won. And I can't blame him for feeling that way. I'm like, I don't, if someone told me that like, oh, my team is these people, like the greats, cool. All right, nice. So long, losers. I'm out. And I really do think the way that we talk to each other, and you can see the energy on stage. Like there was a picture, even their uniforms, they look like they're Weezer, the Blue Album. And you got us. You got us. Our team was standing together, and we look like a bunch of friends just hanging out. We're like, yeah, we're like doing poses and stuff like that. And you're just like, and like, no offense to them, they're legends. It looked good. That pose looked good on them. Their seriousness looked great. I loved it. It's perfect. But I feel like you could tell that we're like constantly giving each other information, and they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing, so they didn't need to talk to each other all the time. And I think that us communicating constantly is how we kept progressing through. Not only Lil Curbs and Shoujo being complete monsters, but us talking through and confirming what to do next. I really do think that helped us get ahead and pull out the wins because we were just constantly communicating and reinforcing what we think we need to do.
This was the I think honestly the first GDQ that I've watched.
Really?
At least I mean I've stopped in occasionally over the couple of years, but I'm like the hugest speedrunner watcher. I mean Mario Maker's a little different, right? I mean it is kind of speedrunish, but you don't know what you're going to be playing, right? It's not like you have your direct route. You have to kill this boss in this many hits or whatever in order to go further. And I think that's the coolest thing about Mario Maker is that there's a lot, and obviously I was about to say there's a lot of tech that we all know, but apparently we don't. And and to see that like on the fly, nobody knows what's coming up and how wild it can get, especially when you have glitch levels being thrown in there. When you're basically playing a ROM hack at this point. Especially that portal level. That was insane. I tried to download that while you guys were playing it, and it was already gone.
It was already gone.
It was already gone. But like just stuff like that makes, I think, especially that segment super fun because nobody knows truly what to expect. And you just have 4 people just playing like crazy. Every once in a while, it's like, oh, look, team whatever over here. Team perchance. Look, this Lil Curbs is on a run here. Look at this. And then it maybe completes it, maybe doesn't. I don't know, but it gets really hype out of like absolutely nowhere. Everyone will be grinding the same spot. And then out of nowhere, somebody gets a break finally and it gets real hype. Everyone's freaking out. Like, is this the run? And I think that alone makes that segment really fun just because it's like nobody knows. You can be prepared all you want, but these levels, I mean, like you said, we have,
it's
3 of the
most
biggest
unique
hitters.
Thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Generally I do think like also like with having like ADHD, Maker just suits me a lot better because I've learned some speedrun stuff like Pocky Rocky, one of the games that inspired my name. I've learned so many things about that, and I could submit a run right now that would get me, like on the leaderboard. I'd be on the leaderboard, and not number one or anything like that, but I could submit a competent time. That's like I think it was like 29 minutes is my fastest, and like it wouldn't be dead last, but it wouldn't be near first. But I despite learning all these different tricks, I just can't do the same thing over and over again and not be completely bored with it. With Maker, even if a level's like the same kind of like theme or, even if it's a similar layout, it's still different. I don't get bored. Right. I have thousands and thousands of hours in this game and I'm still impressed every day by something that someone's made. Level design is art. And as a musician and artist myself, I can't help but appreciate it. Even if a level sucks, I try to find something good to say about it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, okay. And I just move on. But
right.
Speaking of level design, did you like this group of GDQ levels? They seem to me to be more difficult, just as much fun, or last year's. Like, what do you think put on the better show? Last year seemed to be smoother, but this year was kind of like, holy smokes, look at the grinds they're putting in.
I feel like this year overall was more showy and impressive and memorable. I mean, even just trying to think back to 2022, I feel like none of the levels really stood out like the levels did this time. Mm-hmm. And I was even in the Discord, I was being like, hey, we got all this new tech coming out. These are the moments people remember. Like people aren't really so much talking about the levels from last year, but they're still talking about what happened in the ROM hacks, the ROM hack races for SMW. And I was like, in the Discord talking with level creators, I was saying like, hey, we could pull out some stuff like this. We need to pull out the stops. And we also were discussing like how like the year before was too easy. They kind of overcompensated.
Yeah. I think
overcompensated.
I think I'd heard somebody say they were like, someone was like, I hope this year's like last year. I think like somebody was like at 20 minutes and the whole thing was over. Something like that. And not that the levels were bad. They were just, they were good levels. Just maybe not as challenging. or as weird as what we got.
Shoujo one shot a level last year, and
Yeah.
like it was
Oh,
like
I heard that was a
Remember
goal.
that.
No one shots.
yeah, that was the goal. One of the goals was like because like dang, that's too easy and that's not memorable. You know,
Right.
like, oh, I mean, like it got Shoujo a lot of love. But it also like just immediately ended that level, and like we cleared we were like, I don't know, 30 minutes ahead of schedule because of that, which was good because but like it's also kind of bad because they want to gather donations for the event as well as potentially hit incentive runs, like as you donate a certain amount, it unlocks a different game. Well, we finished 30 minutes early. It's good for scheduling, really bad for hitting goals.
Right.
And it also kind of like so they overcompensated this year, and I kind of feel like that did hurt a little bit, but overall it didn't. It was still more hype than harm.
Yeah.
Last year after it, I downloaded all the levels and I was playing them so well. I think I one shot a couple of. My ego inflated so much because I'm like, I'm the greatest. And then a week later, I played a hard level. I'm like, wait, no, I'm not as good as I thought I was. This is terrible. I'm like, for like 2 minutes after last year's, I'm like, I'm the new Panga. And it was hilarious how wrong I was.
I think that's what set this year apart too, that the levels, they had new mechanics and new tricks that nobody had seen. So you have all these legends, whether old or new, in the Mario Maker community, and you didn't just watch them beat a level that was like all the same hard tricks. You watched them all figure out new tech together. And that made it extremely memorable in my eyes.
Yep. Agreed.
It was definitely very cool to see like the heavy hitters out there, that the biggest Mario Maker streamers, like all putting their heads together, and being like, what do we do? Like, well, what did you do? Oh, I see this, when normally they can like, sight read, beat super difficult levels very easily and stuff. It was cool to actually see them kind of struggle with it to the same degree. Just like, what do we do? How did you do this? How are they doing it? I saw a lot of screen peeking and stuff like, which is strategy. How is that team? How did they do that part right there? And that was cool to see.
You know what I noticed? Last year after GDQ, all the Mario Maker streamers played all the GDQ levels. This year, I didn't see as many Mario Maker streamers going for those levels, and I think it was because they were like, yeah, that looks hard.
I noticed that kind of as well. And I really don't blame them, because some of those levels, like even after the event, there's a level that like I didn't really get to play. It was the one with the spike thing. Like our team couldn't get past the spike section. Well, playing it at home, it still took me like 30 minutes. Like I don't know. Like I really do wonder if Thab didn't just get it that one time, because sometimes you'll just get lucky a little bit. Like Thab's a legend, and I'm like not trying to say he got lucky, but sometimes the play just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And then you'll try it again, and you can't get it. You'll just like, I just did this. Why can't I get it now? Like I wonder if he flubbed there, how long the team would have been stuck there, because they kind of showed signs of being stuck, but then Thab just like whoop, one shots it, and then we were just there the whole time. I really wonder how different that level would have played out if Thab didn't get that one bounce. Like if it would have been just both teams stuck there forever. That second half of the level was so much better than the spiny section. There's trying to bounce on it. That was just brutal. And even the testers of that level were like, yeah, I got stuck there. I didn't beat that. And I was like, then why did you submit? He's like, yeah, I didn't beat that section. Why did you submit it? Yeah, I was stuck there. I couldn't get past it.
I learned from the levels, I can't handle boost pads in 3D World. I can't long jump off them. I can't manipulate them. I can't do anything. And like, I watched you play the level again on your stream, Dan. You're like, right through. And I'm like, I'm pulling my hair out because it was an eye opener. It's an amazingly well done level. I cannot long jump off a 3D World boost pad to save my life. I can't. It's not. I don't think it's physically possible. Use hacks to do it. I'm positive about that.
Troll levels have helped me there. I think that's why I was able to get through that so much, because I was the one troll player on like both sides of both sides of the field. I was the one. I'm doing the antis with the boost pads and the stuff like that. I'm playing these torture levels for fun, and I'm like the only one that really has much experience with those torture levels, and I think that really helped me on that one. I got almost like the second checkpoint, like my first try.
Did you have a favorite level?
I gotta say that it's probably the teleporting level.
Yeah. That was a big favorite for everyone. I that's the one I heard the most buzz about. And I was in a couple of Discords watching it that were live reacting, and people went nuts. I couldn't believe how many people said these levels look like a ROM hack.
Yep.
I love how flashy it looked too. I'm a huge fan of flashy levels that aren't actually that hard because of my skill level. So like I love like certain creators, you watch it, you're like, how is this possible? Like I'm literally just holding in right and jump and it looks like I'm being a legend. So with the teleporter level, I didn't get a chance to play it. Is it so flashy? It looks insanely difficult. Was it one of the harder ones, or was it like just so well put together that you can kind of just once you know, it's not too bad?
It's hard, but I do feel like that once you know how to handle a spot, you got it. But you're probably going to die every advancement getting to that next spot.
Okay.
It's hard enough to where like, oh, okay, so this, because you're learning this mechanic as you go. There's a spot in the level to where like you have to do a spin onto the pipe, and then since it teleports you, you're not actually going through a pipe. You just get warped. It's a glitch. You get warped over here. You keep your spin. I died so many times going into that pipe just by just like, oh, I'm just gonna land right here and then I'll spin. No, you have to spin onto the pipe. Otherwise, you're not going to bounce on the spiny afterwards. You're not going to bounce on the thwomp afterwards properly. So like, it's like, oh, okay, I need to approach it this way. It carries over like this because you don't know how it's going to carry over. A lot of times you'll have a certain type of spin going on. You'll land on a bumper and then you go to a regular jump, or you'll have like a cape or something and you'll go to float down. You'll hit an object and then you're twirling instead of floating. And there's so many different things that when you're playing the game, you interact with the object and it changes your momentum. It changes what type of state that your character is in. And so like you're approaching a lot of these tricks for the first time, it's going to kill you probably a couple times while you try to be like, oh, this is how it works. And then you got it. So it's hard. It's definitely not the hardest level. I would say it's out of all the levels, it's probably, I don't know, like difficulty wise, it's probably like the 6th hardest.
Wow.
It's still hard, but it's got more flash than it does difficulty.
Yeah, and even just the words you're using, like you're working with the tech, you make one advancement and then you die because you don't know what's up ahead. I mean, that's right there, right away, is just screaming ROM hack to me. That's typically when you grind more difficult ROM hacks, you finally get past the really difficult part, and then you're immediately it's just like you're dead, right? that's just the progression of ROM hacks. So and that's again why so many people are just comparing it to that, because it's that teleporting stuff. Like we've seen that so many times in ROM hacks, and it's cool. Although Nintendo might not necessarily like it, it's cool that people found the exploit to be able to do that and put it in front of like 80,000 people or something like that, 75,000 people that were on that stream. And that's not even counting people who are restreaming it in other areas and stuff like that. In Discords, different YouTubes and stuff like that. I mean, it was it's that many people got to see some really cool exploits. Unfortunately, they probably won't be able to find that again, at least not easily.
Right.
But it was still really cool to broadcast that.
So I'm out of the loop on the background stuff of why Nintendo is so harsh on stuff like glitches in the game, because it has to take a lot of work to go in and stop all of these troll levels and all of these things. Are they trying to preserve the competition and the high score of endless super expert runs, or what? Do you know why they are so adamant to not let? Because for me, glitch in the game, that's fun. Yeah. And even speedrunners are like, okay, we can have a different category. If you want to use the glitch, you can, but we're going to self-regulate and make sure that the sanctity, if you want to do this glitchless, you can still do it. So outside looking in, I don't understand why they put so much effort into stopping this.
So I actually can very easily break this down. Why they are so hard. They're anti-hardcore, really, is what it is. They want every person to potentially start up the game and be like, oh, Mario jump, Mario go to the right. Whenever you start adding in these things like super booster pads or super teleportation, that they're like, this goes against the spirit of what we originally intended for Mario, and it could also end up used in abusive ways. Like, so if every single level is like, Mario walked to the right, teleports you into an instant death pit, and like uses glitch mechanics. Like normally it's like an off-screen thwomp. You can at least see where it's coming from. But when a player is being actively warped around and being thrown all these different ways, experienced players like, oh, this is cool tech. We can actually do some cool stuff with it. But a kid playing the game for the first time is like, this is just unfair. There's no way I can react to this. How do I utilize this? This was never taught to me. It was never implied to me. This is stuff that wasn't intentional to do. So that's kind of like one of the reasons that Nintendo's like, we want anyone to be able to kind of come into the game and understand what is happening, what is going on. And still there's a lot of people in Kaizo and whatever that make these texts and stuff like that. It's kind of like shell jumps. They keep adjusting how shell jumps work because they never really wanted shell jumps to be a thing. They'd be like, from Mario Maker 1 to 2, there was like a 6-frame change that they ended up implementing. Like shell jumps from Mario Maker 1 and to 2 are completely different. Same with like POW drops, P-switch jumps. They keep trying to change things to bring it back into a way that like these weird texts that they never intended are removed. But it's also really hard for them to just outright remove it based on how these items work. So I'm kind of hoping that Nintendo is watching and paying attention just so they can start, instead of making these tricks harder to do, we should actually normalize them a little bit more. Maybe include them in teaching about it. Maybe like normalize, like, hey, you can jump off a P-switch if you're fast enough, you know. But it's kind of like how even like you remember like Smash Bros. Brawl, they introduced into this competitive fighting game random tripping.
Yep.
And like Nintendo doesn't like pandering to the hardcore extremist. And like one of the this is why I don't think Melee is ever going to get a port or a re-release, because wave dashing is this thing that you can do that not only destroys your hands if you get good at doing it, it will wreck you. It would actually potentially cause long-term, lifelong, lasting damage to your joints. But like it was never intended. There's so many things in that game that game was kind of pushed out the gate. It was like that's why it's so unbalanced and broken. It's also kind of why so many people love it. It's like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's not finessed, and that kind of made it to where like it's so much fun to play. But when people got hardcore with it, they were able to break everything, and that's like, oh well, we need to take away that ability because we want anyone to be able to jump in and have fun. And having these extreme tricks and stuff like that don't apply by our rules of platforming fun, we're endangering our brand. We're making it where people are going to play this game and just say, oh, it's just a glitchy, broken mess. Well, who would want to buy this? Who would want to promote this? Meanwhile, majority of people on like Twitch were like, yeah, glitchy, broken mess.
Out.
Yeah.
Everyone's
I can teleport now. And they're just like, wow, our code is so bad. We really don't want to showcase this.
Right.
It seems counterintuitive. Like there's only so many like brilliant people that are going to be able to do this glitchy broken mess thing compared to how many regular, and it's already broken down by skill. So if it's unplayable, it's going to be in super expert anyways.
Yep.
And I'm a good gamer. I stayed out of super expert when I had Mario Maker 1. Not for me. I'm not welcome there.
I really hope they just make it to where like players can upload. I do think there's going to be a Maker 3, but when and if that happens, I really hope they give an option to not include levels in the endless like expert, you know, endless whatever, do an endless mode. I hope they bring back the 100 life challenge, because this endless is just, I don't get the same satisfaction from endless.
No. It's nice to have an end goal, like something to get to. Yeah, I agree. As a viewer, I never streamed Mario Maker 1, but as a viewer, it was way more exciting when they started getting close to that castle than just a high number on the scoreboard.
Yeah, like 2,000 clears was never as exciting as just getting like, oh, this is my 7th super expert clear in a row, or it was never as cool as that. And another interesting thing kind of tying into the whole like Nintendo being seemingly super strict. I do think it's kind of like a lazy thing, but it also is kind of interesting. I think it ties in more to Animal Crossing sabotaging Mario Maker. I have a conspiracy theory. Y'all ready for it?
Whoa.
Let's hear it.
Juicy.
I got this is some
cue the X-Files theme song here.
Cue the X-Files theme here. So when Animal Crossing, like, it was pushed back, it was delayed. And even when it came out, there's a ton of features that weren't in the game. Nintendo was not expecting Animal Crossing to be one of the biggest selling. Animal Crossing outsold Pokemon at the time.
Which is
Animal
incredible.
Crossing, that's insane. So after Nintendo knew that game wasn't complete, and they were working on DLC and stuff for it. COVID was just kicking into high gear. A lot of people were at home and they were needing escapism. They were needing something relaxing and chill. And Animal Crossing hit all the right spots, and it outsold everything at the time. Like, there was nothing that was selling as much as Animal Crossing, and that's when Nintendo was like, "Oh well, we need to reroute resources." All of a sudden, everything that was coming out for Mario Maker, remember, it was just one giant bulk release, all the Koopa Kids, all these new enemy types and like helmets, and everything dropped at once. And the Mario 2 mushroom, it was like an entire year worth of potential slow release items and things like that were just bulk dropped, and the game was never touched again. And I think they were like, all right, we were good. I think the Mario 2 mushroom was going to be one of the additional game types,
right?
Because if you look next to 3D World, there's just an empty spot.
Yep.
It's just an empty spot. And they said, even on the box, we're going to be adding more to the game. That never happened. I think Mario 2 was supposed to be that power up. I think that, like, Mario 2 was going to be announced. It was going to be all the kids would be added. The Koopa Kids would be added. And that was supposed to be, the big hurrah. I think all these things were supposed to be slowly implemented. The helmets being even further down the line. There's so much stuff that was implied to be added, but I think they just rerouted it to Animal Crossing, because then they started all these updates to Animal Crossing were so much more frequent. Every month there was a new update, new content, new stuff, and they were pushing a lot out. And Animal Crossing literally outsold Pokemon. They were like, we need to fix this game and get it finalized. Nintendo's like, it's good enough to release now. It's fine. No one's going to buy this game. Sells more than Pokemon, and they just rerouted everything. Wow. I really do think that's what happened with Mario Maker getting dropped off the way it was. And then after it took like a year and a half, they finally stopped updating Animal Crossing. And I think they were hoping to have the next console out by now, but chip shortages and whatnot. I think that's what also kind of destroyed Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because there is so much data in the game that implies it was supposed to be running on different hardware. Like it seems like they're like, oh, there's not going to be a Switch Pro or whatever. What are we going to do? We need to backscale everything, and thus everything loads in incorrectly. Like, they had to patch job it to work on the Switch, and that's why Sonic 06 looks better than Pokemon Scarlet Violet.
You took me back. I mentioned this before, and it was the big dump of all the new Mario content. And at the very end of that direct, and the dude looks in the camera, looks into your soul, and goes, "And we're never updating this game again." Yeah, and I'm like, why would you even say that?
Right. Yeah,
right
into our souls.
It's like I got kicked in the. I'm super excited. It's like having the best Christmas ever, and now it's like Christmas is canceled.
Yeah, here's your last present ever. Christmas is over.
Exactly.
You can do that. Just don't say that. And the fact that they said that was the weirdest thing I have ever seen in my life. It's like, now you get no more.
Nintendo even like straight up lies in the past. They're like, oh yeah, we're going to keep supporting the DS when this next console comes out.
Well,
we're gonna keep supporting.
You sure about that?
Yeah, and then they immediately kill it. We're going to keep supporting the Wii U when the Switch comes out. And it's like they just ported every Wii U game to the Switch.
So he just went rogue. He's like, you know what? I'm going to tell him the truth time. Yep. We're not going to do this anymore. That's done.
We're done.
I'm kind of wondering, like, I do think if Mario Maker 3 is going to happen because of all this behind the scene data too. So whenever you're creating a level, the Ninja tracks what you're doing as you play. Like, you can go through, like, you do a jump in the level editor, and then you'll see your last few movements until you die. And if you remember Ninja runs, everything you do, you run through the level is saved. And this is actually how Nintendo double checks for glitches for uploads, but they don't do this until someone reports it. Because they actually like fun a lot more than you think they do. But people report these levels until they'll have like these fast movement texts because the game's tracking it. The game sees what you do. If you're able to just beat and upload the level, Nintendo's fine with it. But if someone reports it, Nintendo is going to automatically assume that this person isn't enjoying that tech. It'll cause a background kind of like security checksum where they'll look for the weird Mario movement because the Ninja's tracking everything. If the Ninja suddenly goes whoop, it just zips across the screen. They're like, oh, that's not what we intended. That is a glitch. We will go ahead and delete this level, but not until someone reports it. So like when you look at it like that, it makes sense. They're waiting for someone they're allowing you to have the fun level until someone reports it because like, oh, this is broken. This is not intended. We're not having fun. The problem is people are, I can't say the words I want to say. People suck.
I just want to say, I'm sorry. I did report the GDQ glitch level. I'm sorry. I'm the one who did that. Sorry, guys.
I knew it.
I looked up and I was like, I don't like that. Report.
I don't like that report.
I hate that.
100%. We did some testing behind scenes, me and some other people, and we were like, all right, we're going to have one account where we publicly have this glitch level, and we're going to tell people about it, and we're going to see how long it takes to get reported and deleted. And then we had another level that, besides a couple tiles, was the exact same level that we never told anyone about, was on a different account, never submitted that level anywhere. It took, I think, a week for the glitch level to get deleted. And the other level it's still up, I think. The exact same glitch level. It literally takes someone reporting it for it to be taken down. So if anyone here, it's people are like, I'm going to do endless expert no skip. And they're like, I got this troll level with a glitch in it. I'm going to report it now. It's just, everyone wants to talk about how much, and I'm guilty of it too, about how much Nintendo hates fun. But really, Nintendo gave us a really decent system for protecting the quality of their brand, as well as like makes it where like we're waiting until literally someone is not having fun with this abuse of the mechanic. Until someone reports it, you can abuse the mechanic all you want. But as soon as it's reported one time, the checksum works and looks through the Ninja data, and there's this glitch movement, removed.
Just gonna say your Poncho Taco impersonation is spot on. It is, you killed it.
I was hoping you wouldn't point that out. Thank you. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I do think, I mean, to a degree, I mean, like you said, we do blame Nintendo for a lot. Nintendo
think, deserves a lot of blame.
they fully deserve a lot of the, if you want to call it hate, I don't know if hate's the right word, a lot of the constructive criticism, maybe, to put it nicer.
You should love no corporation.
True, very true.
Except for Banana Icee.
Except for
Banana Big Icee. Banana Icee, yes. BBI.
All right, that's my new Twitch name, by the way.
Big Banana Icee.
Big Banana Icee.
So I think this might be a good way to segue. So Nintendo, you were talking about, Switch. Maybe we'll get it. Hoping that maybe by now we would have had new hardware. There's also a new, and then we also talk about Nintendo removing things. I think that brings us. Can we talk? I mean, we just had a major game release. One of the biggest games of all time release 3 or 4 weeks ago now. Tears of the Kingdom. That just
29
released.
days.
And that just released, and it hit, I don't know, it was top of Twitch for forever. I think it's starting to finally come down a bit. I know my follow list was nothing but Tears of the Kingdom for like, it felt like 2 weeks or something like that. And it's out. Ashley, I feel like you need to say something here. I mean, you've been anticipating this for, we'll just say since you were born. How's that?
That's an accurate statement for sure. So, I was actually telling Mike Cheese Pops offline, I'm so glad that TanukiDan is our guest this month, because I'm sure we'll talk to Dan about it, but I don't think that Dan has played it at all, if I'm not mistaken. And I feel like it would have just been a Tears of the Kingdom episode. And just let me preface with nothing I'm about to say will be a spoiler. I promise you that. But wow, it has been 29 days that we've had this game, and it is life changing. To for lack of better words, I mean, it changed my life in the last 29 days. I've been counting down since over 200 days. So it just it's so hard to believe that it's finally here and I have it. And I had a 24-hour stream at the release of the game, and people got to see my reaction, and I was crying and I was laughing and I was emotional. And I think the coolest thing about it is it's the first time that a large Zelda title like that has released since I've been on Twitch and been streaming. And the fact that so many of us got to experience it together and got to share, as little spoiler as possible, obviously, but got to share in our experience and pop in on each other's streams if we were okay with a little spoil. And it just it like took our lives, whether you played it or not, it took over the internet and it took our lives by storm. And it's changed me as a person.
It's what Nintendo does. They make you mad. They do everything wrong, and then they're like, "Oh, here's Zelda." It's like, fine. What time do you want me to pick you up and take you out? Let's go.
They're gonna charge you $10 extra for it too. They're gonna charge you $10 extra for it too.
Right.
They could have charged $200, and I'm such a fanboy. Like, just take my money. I love you, Nintendo. I yell at you because I. But yeah, it's no spoilers.
It's like the Breaking Bad. It's like he can't keep getting away with it.
Right.
I hear you, but like they get me because my favorite thing to say is if Nintendo puts a Triforce on it, I'm buying it. And it's bad too. Like I had spent, I want to say before the game even came out, around $900, including the OLED Switch that came out. And I took out my very first credit card I'm 35. I took my first credit card out in my life, anticipating and hoping that the Tears of the Kingdom edition Switch was going to come out, the collector's edition, the guidebook, just anything I could get my hands on that day, the Pro Controller, the Joy-Cons, the real Joy-Cons. I may have gotten bamboozled and got fake Joy-Cons also, but that's a story for another day. But it just, you put a Triforce on it, they suckered me. I'm buying it.
Bamboozled is a great word.
It's
There's some words out there
one.
that
Yes.
just, they sound like what they are. Bamboozled is one of them. And what I'll say about Zelda, and this goes for most of them, like when I play a game, it's always Mike Cheese Pops playing Mario. It's always Mike Cheese Pops playing, this game. When I play Zelda, I cease to be. Like, I am so I get lost into it. And I know that sounds nerdy, but that's, the older I get, the harder and harder that is to do with games. So when I was a kid playing Mario, I could do that. It's just the game now. But the older I get, it's always now me playing the game. But when you see certain things, when you jump from certain places for those first times, you're just like, you're jello into the experience. And that's like,
Well, I think you also said that's partially why you were going to keep it exclusively to offline, right? Playing is because otherwise you would just sit there and never say a word the entire time you played.
Yeah. It would turn into I would not notice anyone. I would be silent. And like, even I get yelled at if my wife is watching me play. She's like, "Are you not going to answer me?" I'm like, "Who are you? What? Wait, what?
Who are you? What are you doing in my house?"
I get startled back into reality. And it's fun because I got her to play Breath of the Wild like a month ago. Like 2 months ago. She's like, "Oh, what's that?" She's never played a Zelda game. And I'm like, "Oh, well, you might like it. Just try it." She beat Breath of the Wild in like 2 weeks. Everything.
Wow.
And then this game came out, and I'm like, "Look, I'm going to play the game." She's like, "No spoilers," running around the house, avoiding it. We only have one copy. This is the first time in our 16 years together where there's honest to goodness, like, "Where's my game?" And that's her telling it to me. Like, it's no longer my Zelda game. It's hers now. And I have to wait until she's done playing it. And it's just that good of that one commercial that came out of that dude of like on the train, and it's kind of like not depressing, but like, here's what real life is, and like also real life could be better a little bit. And it's just it's so The Escape, it's so much fun. It's I love it. But also I am excited for streamers to stop streaming it just because I don't want spoilers and I've missed out on some of my favorite people of all time, you know?
Right.
Actually,
right,
every
right,
time we
right.
streamed it, I couldn't watch.
I mean, I said last month to everybody, it's not a secret. I took a week off from work when Tears of the Kingdom came out. I mean, I had a lot of paid time off. I don't really do anything, but I had saved it up and I took 9 days off from work when it came out. So I think so. I normally stream because I have a full-time job about 45 to 50 hours a month. Last month I streamed over 120 hours. So that's a lot for me. That's a lot.
Yeah,
That is
And
a lot,
I had
yes.
in 15 days I took 1 day off from streaming, and I was doing double streams and like in morning and night. I mean, it was really cool because I'm normally like Mike Cheese Pops where I experienced Zelda alone. When Breath of the Wild came out, I wasn't streaming. And I had taken a week off, and my friends would call me and be like, "Ashley, you need to leave your house." And I was like, "No, honey, someone's got to save Hyrule, and it's your girl. It's your girl." So I
Physically
can't go.
remove you from the property.
I had friends actually come to
And
my.
that's
I
when you're
remember
like,
my friends
I have a
came over.
Switch. I can take it
Yep,
with me.
I had people physically drag me from my home, and the whole time I was out, I was just like, I just want to be home playing Zelda. So to have actually like turned the camera on and experienced it, especially like my 24-hour stream, I played 3 hours of Mario Maker and 21 hours straight of Tears of the Kingdom, which that was really cool. My first experience of the game playing it 21 straight hours, but also getting to experience it with so many people that came by and stuff. Like I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, I have my first reaction to the titles, the title cutscene. I will never forget that now. I was so emotional. I was crying. It's my most watched TikTok ever. My reaction to the title scene. And now I'll never forget that experience that I've had. Pretty cool.
My audio cut out for a bit. You're talking about Sonic Frontiers, right?
yeah.
Yeah, she did switch to Sonic Frontiers. Yeah, yep.
That was my joke. I spent 10 minutes workshopping that in my head.
I saw
did not
him
execute
typing
well.
in the background. I saw him. He was just like, he got that from Chat GPT. Don't let him lie to you.
If you're listening on the podcast, the cold dead stares that I got, that will go down in history as the worst joke I've ever done in my life, and I'm very proud of it. I've got a smug face.
I mean, I think it'd be cool to kind of like go around the room and see like how long you played it and like maybe what you thought of Tears of the Kingdom, and or also if you haven't played Y and what you think of the way that it took over Twitch kind of. I think that'd be really cool, and I'm happy to start. I played it 21 hours when it came out. I think I'm at 175 hours in the game right now. I beat the game accidentally last weekend. I won't get too much into it, but I got to an area just to explore, and I heard this music, and I was like, "Oh dear God, I'm at endgame right now." It was the music. It's the kind of music that you hear in a game, and you're like, "I have to make a choice right now. I have to decide if I'm gonna save and leave where I'm at, or if I'm gonna take those 2 extra steps and start a cutscene and beat this game." And I'm sitting on my couch on a Sunday, and I was just like, "All right, we're doing it." So I was 145 hours in when I was 145 hours when I beat the game. And it's funny because when you beat the game and you go back in, you get a percentage of completion that you're at. I was at 50% on the dot when I beat the game, which was so weird. It was so weird. And I have lots of Koroks to go and stuff, but I can officially say, and I know a lot of people have opinions and stuff, and mine is just my own, but it gets a 10 out of 10 for me. I didn't think anything could top Breath of the Wild, and it has just been the most wonderful game experience that I personally have ever had.
So for me, it has been an ambiguous amount of hours. I'm scared to be honest. I don't want to feel bad about myself. I've enjoyed it. Like, I love my life. I am the happiest person in the world. But when I play Zelda, I cease to be. And then when I turn it off and I come back, I'm startled, I'm agitated, I'm confused. I'm like, I just want to go back into that. You know, it's so much fun. It's so cool to explore and be exploring and the goofiness. And I'm so happy they embraced the goofy side of Zelda too. It's not all serious. They keep all of the weird, peculiar stuff in that makes me smile.
Yeah.
I did get to the end randomly, like a couple hours. I dove in there, and I was like, Link is just running like an idiot. I'm just eating food, trying to survive, and I got there, and I teleported out once I got to the battle. I didn't want to see it yet, but that was hilarious. I shouldn't have been there, but I love it. For the Twitch part of it, I've not seen a single person stream it, and I miss seeing my favorite streamers stream different games just because that's selfish. I'm not going to get spoilers, and I miss watching my favorite streamers. And quit streaming it, everyone. That's my
Just
piece.
stop streaming it. I have 25 hours in it, and I'm done. I'm not gonna play that game anymore. People are gonna hate it. I do not like the game. I got 25 hours, and I was, in my opinion, I don't care for I guess games that are so open ended that I get overwhelmed with what even to do, which is weird because I am really enjoying Elden Ring, which is even more cryptic, if you will. But I don't know, Tears of the Kingdom doesn't click for me. The first thing I'll say about Tears of the Kingdom is I wish I was playing it on literally anything else than the Switch. Literally anything else. Like, Nintendo, give us a Switch 2. Give us a Switch 2. The Switch 1 is bad. It's a bad console at this point. It's old. Nothing runs on it well. Even your Magic, I mean, Tears of the Kingdom to me, it just frame drops everywhere. And it was just like, give us a Switch 2. Please. Anything else but the Switch. That was one big thing for me in particular about it. But otherwise, I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't work for me. I played it for 25 hours. And it's the same normal map, if you will, right? It's the same Hyrule map. It's destroyed to an extent, right? I don't care about the depth area. I just don't. I go down and I'm just like annoyed. I have to go down there. I have to collect things just to explore, and I'm running low on resources. And then the sky, I don't know. I just don't like the sky. I couldn't be less interested in going up there. I don't know. I don't like the game. I'm 25 hours in. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. I think I prefer Breath of the Wild more if I had to choose one.
This is coming from a man who said in his own Discord, wait, I got to a cold area and I have to cook food to survive here? And I have to explore for that food? I mean, you were like appalled that you had to make an effort, and you were like, well, I'm done.
So I remember I played Breath of the Wild, and I played maybe 65 hours. I beat the 4 beasts, whatever they're called. Divine Beasts. I never beat Ganon because I think something else came out, maybe like Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't remember, to be honest. And it completely took me away. And I tried to come back to Breath of the Wild at some point, and just I couldn't remember like any of the mechanics, stuff like that. So I was like, all right, 65 hours, I'm happy. I don't need to beat Ganon. I looked it up online. I was like, okay, that's the fight, whatever. That's what that is. I don't remember any. I know cooking was a thing in it. I don't remember ever wasting time. I don't remember wasting time collecting and cooking just so I can go do something. Like I always had the means to do whatever I needed to without that. Like I also am typically the type of gamer that as soon as I see a game advertises, what is it called? Crafting. I'm like, all right, I'm not buying that game. I'm not crafting. I have no interest in ever crafting or survival elements of food, stuff like that. It's like, nope, I'm not touching that game. And I should also say that last podcast I did say I was not intending to buy this game anytime soon. But I did end up buying it, I think, a couple hours before it came out. And I had fun, the night of. But I think that was the extent of the fun that I had. I played it for 25 hours. I beat the first temple, if you will. And I was like, this temple kind of sucks. I don't care for it. And I'm done with it. I can't get past 25 hours. I don't have any interest in going back.
I just want to let everybody know that during my 24-hour stream, I'm playing the game. I was so excited. I waited years. And there's Poncho Taco in the chat. I'm farther than you. I'm doing better than you at the game. Just so you know, I already did this part like 30 minutes ago. I'm way farther than you.
No, as I remember saying like, okay, I was like, I think what it started with, I was like, oh, here it comes. That's all I said in chat because it was gonna be the title screen drop, right? And I was like, oh, here it comes. That's all I wrote. Ambiguous. And of course, Ashley saw the title screen, started crying, and which we all like, knew was gonna happen. And then she was like, oh, so you're ahead of me. And then later on, she's like, oh, I found a bow and arrow. I bet Poncho didn't find a bow and arrow because he's just rushing through this game. And I was like, I do have the bow and arrow.
I will say, after Breath of the Wild, and I played it a ton, I didn't play anything but platform, like non-story driven, non-exploratory games for the next, I think, 4 years. I went straight Nintendo for a while. So it's a very different type of game that if you're not in the mood for, you're not going to enjoy, kind of situation, because it is, I wouldn't say like really gameplay driven. There's some really good gameplay, but like after doing like the collecting and the exploring, I think are my two favorite parts. The fighting's kind of fun.
Yeah.
You can learn patterns, the Fury Rush. But am I going to say it's like the greatest fighting game of all time? No, for me, the endorphins come from exploring and the collecting. And then with this type of game, for me, I always there's a day where I'm never sure this is the last day I'm playing it, but it always happens randomly. And then I never play it. Like, same thing happened with Skyrim. Like, when it's over, it's over. And now I'm just retro platformer, hardcore. Like, I can't put more than one day into a game for 4 years. It seems how it goes.
It's like a breakup. You got to move on.
I feel like I totally get where you're coming from that right there, Cheese Pops, because I'm like, once I get through like a big game like that, but I'm kind of more aligned with Poncho Taco in this as well, just because I can't. So when I played Breath of the Wild, I got 8 hours into that game, and I was like, this is definitely an evolution of open world gaming. The movement and the exploration feels great. I just felt like they needed to do better map stuff. And then after spending a long time just flying off in the distance, climbing these hills and whatnot, I was supposed to go somewhere for a quest. I had no idea. And I was like, rather than finding it, I just stopped playing it.
Yeah.
And then when it came down to Tears of the Kingdom, I'm just like, we got Minecraft at home. I didn't want more things to sidetrack me. I have ADHD. I don't need even more things to sidetrack me from I'm going to build a giant anatomically correct robot rather than ever play through the entire game. I'm just not ever going to get to that point where I'm actually going to play through the story. And it's kind of hard. Like, whenever I'm not streaming, I'm editing videos, I'm working on music. I play all of my instruments. I play drums, bass, keyboard. I sing. When I'm writing music, I'm playing every single instrument. I'm producing it myself. I'm writing it myself. I'm editing videos myself. I'm doing shorts for myself. I am doing so much that, like, with Mario Maker, every level is a concise thing I can get through and clear and be done with. Meanwhile, this open world game is going to be 120 hours, just to me building inappropriate robots, not even counting like actually playing through the game. And I'm like, well, if I'm just, I can't justify it to myself. I can't justify the time sink. Meanwhile, if we have like a top-down Zelda game, give me a nice 20-hour adventure. I'm going to absolutely love every second in it. But every minute of playing Breath of the Wild, I was like, I could feel how much work I wasn't getting done. And I couldn't feel the progress within the game because I'm just walking, climbing up hills. I'm not like, even if I was doing temples, it's like, all right, this temple, you get 5 arrows. You did it. Good job completing the shrine. Here's Korok poop. You did it. Good job. Guess what? We're bringing that back.
They did.
Everyone loved it. Let's do it again.
And now you can combine the arrows with the poop.
It's true.
I actually said before the game even came out, and again, no spoilers, but I said if Tears of the Kingdom was Breath of the Wild 2, I would be okay with that. And I'm okay with that.
And I think that's a big thing, is that like I think it's probably healthier to not have my mindset about it, But I also am very much aware that there's probably going to be quite a few people that are going to be like, yeah, that's also why I can't get into it. You know, like, because it's just like, it's the same reason I can't get into Minecraft, but I can get into Stardew Valley, even though it has the crafting and the energy and all these different things about, like, I love Stardew Valley. It has all this huge, you can do what you want, you can make all these choices, but it's still the areas you can go to is still very refined. The amount of exploration you can do. I can't just create this giant robot that shoots lasers from the sky down and building all these different things to traverse the world. Sometimes I just want to, hey, here's a sword, go whack some stuff.
Yeah.
And there isn't really too much of that outside of crafting your own machines that you're making and stuff like that.
About to
All right,
say,
so
here's a sword, go whack some stuff for like 3 hits and then
yeah.
you're done.
And it's, I was like, once again, I'd love, like, there's this moment when I was playing Breath of the Wild. It was in the last hour, I think I was playing of it, where I was like, I climbed a tree, I jumped off, got on my glider, shot an arrow at a monster. It fell down. I went up and whacked it. And then I went and launched myself using like the little, like, you have the magic where you like shoot something off. I jumped on a pole, launched myself back into the air using the magic. Arrow again, repeat. So this cool moment of fighting this boss where I'm like literally doing matrix moves and flying around, like doing all this crazy stuff. Then I was like, all right, cool. And never touched the game again. Never beat Breath of the Wild. And I wish I could make myself go and finish it and play it, because every minute I played of it, I did love it. But I could also just do anything else.
Yeah. It's an investment though. Like, it's a really, if you really want to like do more than just the very basic surface, it's an investment of your time to do a game like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom. It's not going to be your Link to the Past where you do these dungeons in this order, you're done with the game. Like, you have so much freedom in that open world, like, that you don't, sometimes, like, I feel people will beat the game and they don't really even feel like they did. But then there's people who didn't ever do the final Ganon fight, like Ponch Taco, but he did enough in the game that he was like, all right, I'm good.
Meanwhile, Elden Ring,
Yeah.
absolutely loved every second of it, and I can't wait for DLC. And I think that also kind of ties into like all these open world games, and Tears of the Kingdom. I think like every Zelda game, I think from this point on, is going to have that crazy building system. And I don't know, because if they walk it back from this progression point, they're just going to get hate. It's just going to get hate. It has to be the next evolution of this open world crafting madness. Meanwhile, I feel like just like having the different spells and having, you know, you have your, which is funny that's named Torrent. I love that. It's like Elden Ring Torrent. You're just going to find up articles about the horse. So brilliant.
Yeah.
Such a great anti-piracy trick. What's so freaking brilliant? I need to find this torrent for Elden Ring. It's like you just find the horse. Brilliant. So smart. That was so good. But like I can cook food, I can craft and update items and all these other things within the game. But I'm once again, it's very comprehensive. The map is really good for seeing where you haven't been and where you could possibly go. And like, it never felt as overwhelming as any moment with like Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom, but Breath of the Wild and what Tears of the Kingdom looked like to be. I felt like the entire time playing, the 8 hours I spent on Breath of the Wild, I still didn't have the controls down. I was still misclicking things and using the wrong item or pushing the wrong button that I meant to do. It's like, oh, I want to swing the sword. I'm pulling out my arrow. Oh crap. Well, I want to climb up the tree, and now I'm flying in the wrong direction. And meanwhile, in Elden Ring, never had that issue. I was literally on the horse, jumping up buildings and stuff like that, just like do. You know, I felt like I didn't have to. It didn't overwhelm my mind. I wasn't constantly like, I could do a billion different things right now. It's the same reason I can't get into Minecraft. I was like, I could do a billion different things right now. What is my freaking goal? Your goal is just to meander about. I was like, oh, I'm going to play Stardew Valley now. Or my goal is I got to save the community center and marry everyone and then divorce them. And
that's the goal.
Poncho, you like Elden Ring, right?
Yeah, I'm actually doing a first playthrough of it right now. And like I said, it's way more cryptic than Tears of the Kingdom could possibly be, but I weirdly find it easier to know where to go next. I don't know
Right.
how that is. It seems to be clicking with me better than Tears of the
Let's
Kingdom
start
as
this-
far as exploration.
Let's start this divisiveness here. You can only either like Zelda. So if you like Zelda, you are on Team Edward in the Twilight series. But if you like Elden Ring, you are Team Jacob. And we can't be friends. No,
Are we including like the Dark Souls games in this?
sure, why not?
Yeah.
All does, and like we can't. You're werewolves over there, and we are glittery vampires.
Yes.
and we can't be friends.
I mean, if we're including like the whole series, then I have to go Zelda. Even though I love Dark Souls, even though I love Elden Ring, Majora's Mask is just one of my favorite games ever made.
Oh, that's so good.
The
But
one.
like, what I need to say, like, this is a PSA. People are allowed to like what they like and disagree with what you like. It's all opinion, and you could still be friends. You don't have to fight about it. Because I
Yeah.
remember when I was like 13, or like Sega versus Nintendo, I took that personally. I was a
Oh,
Sega
yeah.
kid, and if you like
Yes.
Nintendo,
The
we
system
cannot be
wars.
friends. I should have been your friend out there, Nintendo guys. That's my fault. That's my fault. You're allowed to like what you like, and it's
What-
cool. If you
one
like something
thing-
I like, it's cool too.
One thing I will
this,
say-
Sega sounds
Go
like crap. Sega sounds awful.
It's
It
yeah.
does. It's terrible. The gems.
I will say though about Tears of the Kingdom that I appreciate a complete game. First off, one that's not shipped broken, and how the physics engine that they built, it works.
It's
like
masterful.
yeah,
Yeah.
things stick together. In many other games would just like blow up glitches, like I don't know, like polygons would just like go wild, stretching everywhere. And they built some type of system. From what I heard, that I don't know if this is true. I don't have anything to back this up. I read it somewhere, maybe in a comment somewhere, that apparently they had completed the game like a year ago, and then they spent the last year just working on the
Polish.
physics
Just
engine,
polish.
polishing it. Yeah, making sure that if this person puts together, I mean, they don't have these scenarios because they're just building, points where things stick together, that it's not going to break the game. The person's not going to fall through the ground. I mean, I'm sure those glitches are out there. But for the most part, this is like a 99% polished game that was released. I don't like the $70 price point on an existing generation where everything else is $60. I think they should have waited until Switch 2 if they were going to make that jump personally. But they still put out a complete package that didn't have, it wasn't riddled with bugs. Obviously there's no like battle pass and stuff like that involved or
Yeah.
anything like that. And so I do completely appreciate you have this one, I don't know what card or downloaded content, whatever. And it's all right there. There's no online aspect to it for checking in on DRM to my knowledge. I don't know. Maybe there is on that stuff, but it works and it's polished. It looks good. And I mean, I have to give them credit where credit's due. They did do a very good job with the game. It is not at all for me. Not at all for me.
It was worth the wait, in my opinion, and the price point. I understand, like, it kind of made people go into a small uproar. But if only as a Zelda fan, I'm comparing it to Breath of the Wild. For the price point, you're basically getting 3 games in one with the whole depth, sky, and surface. It is just such a vast and gigantic game. There's so much you can do with it. And my favorite thing to say is, like, again, no spoilers, but like when you complete any kind of dungeon mechanic in that game, it feels so much better when you cheese it than when you do it the right way. There's just so much you can do with the game to just use your imagination and creativity to just make these contraptions that don't even make sense. And when you get the W off of a really janky roller coaster tycoon type of machine that you built, it feels awesome.
I literally saw a video yesterday of somebody who made like a Titanfall 2 mech, or from the movie Avatar, the mechs that they sit in. They made that. It had walking legs and it had like rockets on them. They were shooting things while walking around. Like, I was like, I mean, that's cool. I have no interest in ever building that. I'm just going to put 2 logs together and say, hey, I
It's
made a
magical, you can
bridge.
do it.
This is my mode of transportation. I will never make anything else. But I was like, that's pretty cool that guy made that.
I saw someone make like a flying bridge that they use for like speed runs. It's like a little plank, and they have something that they attach to the start, and they just fly around in this little plank of wood. It's like I see all these people making these giant death machines, and it's just this one spinning thing of wood. So it's just like woo 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 woo. Anything it goes by, it kills, and it just flies to the end.
The clips that have come out of it are very, very good. Very good clips. And stuff that people have the imagination to even put the time and effort into whatever they're building. Like it is fun to see the jankiness, like the jankiness, the good type of jankiness, right? Not because the game is broken, but because people made something and it just blew up. It doesn't even make sense why this even worked or why this completely went awry. It's just like this. It is pretty good. Let's see. We're running a little short on time here. Let's move into really quick emails before we finish up the episode here. We do have an email that was sent in. Again, for our listeners, you can send in an email if you want to the podcast here at email@arcadeparlorcast.com. Again, that's email@arcadeparlorcast.com, and you could be featured on here. We also do offer a voicemail system, which people have used before. And the phone number for that is 402-915-1082. You can ask your question, bring up just a topic of discussion. We'll play it on here, and we will talk about it. Again, you can send emails. You can do that. What's that?
Dan said, let me call in real quick.
Go. Let me give it a quick call. And then again, email. If you have a question, something for us to talk about, send it in there. If you have criticism, I have a filter on there that puts that directly in the trash. So don't even try doing that. We'll have our segment here. So Ashley, you do have an email that was submitted. Would you mind reading that for us?
Surely. This email was actually sent in to us by our good friend Donald WD518. Thank you, Donald. It says, what was something you wish you did sooner for streaming or content creation? What's something you wish that you had done sooner?
Having a schedule.
Good one.
That's literally gonna be, if you're trying to grow on Twitch, you're wanting to do like at minimum 3 streams a week, and you're gonna want to do like 3 to 4 hours, and you're gonna want to have that consistency to where people can find you sooner. If you don't have a schedule and you don't have it's kind of like right now, if you compare just even like just a few weeks after release, no one's even really like watching like Tears of the Kingdom. It's dying out. Like it was being joked about earlier, but it's pretty much already like off of the watched or played games right now. I don't have a single person. I follow 700 people on Twitch, and none of my live individuals on are playing it. I got 0 people in my live list playing Tears of the Kingdom right now. Like, people aren't meaning to forget about you. Like, don't take it personally when people don't find you or don't stick around because they're like, oh, I found this person, I'm just gonna enjoy their content. It's just they're wandering off, and they're like, oh, they're not on today, I'm gonna find someone else. Oh, I'm gonna enjoy this person. It's like they're not going out of their way to not watch you or not support you as a content creator. They're just enjoying something else. They're like, oh, I found this. It's like discovering cheese dip. It's like, oh man, this cheese dip is great, and then you spend like a month eating cheese dip. Well, it's like that with every person that you watch, essentially. Like every person who is a streamer, if you're not consistent, if you don't make it easy for them to find you, then they're more than likely going to lose you. You're going to be lost amongst the deck of cards that is shuffled every day. You know, like but if you're always on these days at this time, guess what? It's going to be easy for them. Like, oh, look, it's this time. Oh, I bet you so-and-so streaming.
Yeah,
so it's a great tip.
That's the best advice I can give.
I fully agree. Scheduling is super important. If you want to, if you're taking it, first off, I mean, everybody has different priorities why they're on Twitch and stuff. But if you're wanting to truly build, viewership, build community, I think scheduling is number one. Absolutely. That's the most important thing, is to have that consistent schedule. Oh, it's 8:00, whatever time so and so's on, and within like 2-3 minutes, or try to be on there on the dot as best as possible. A couple minutes, but yeah, that's huge. I fully agree with that.
Pops.
I would say, I guess the most important thing is just getting involved in communities too. When I first started streaming, I wanted to do retro really badly, and I'm finally getting back into that a little bit. Like, always loved Mario, but like, I'm going to play some retro. Didn't talk to any other retro streamers. No one knows who I am, and 0 viewers. I sat there with my phone watching myself with a different account, and Twitch still said I had 0 viewers. So Twitch, I know you're lying to this day. And so I set up 2 because I want my affiliate. So I'm watching myself twice, and it's looking at me with that big 0. And that's on me, because I expect people to come to me randomly, like, come watch me play X-Men 2 Clone Wars on Genesis, which I did beat with 0 viewers watching, by the way.
You gotta use a VPN.
I know, that's what I didn't know. They wouldn't let me watch. It's all over. So that's my advice. I wish I would have known to use a VPN.
Yeah, they keep, it's like 3 users on the same IP, I think is what it is. I don't remember. I don't know anymore. I haven't.
I would get so nervous when it would go from 0 to 1. I'd be like, I'd just sit up straight, and I'd be like,
you're not even watching yourself. That's how bad the stream was. Not even watching yourself.
And then it'd go back down to 0, and I'd be so heartbroken. I'm like, what did I do wrong? But like, as you said, not every stream is for everyone. People are going to pop in and out at their leisure. So I turned numbers off, and now my goal, have fun and, make a fool of myself to the highest caliber.
When a lot of these people, like, I know when I had like 0 viewers myself for a solid year, I had a very similar problem where I didn't want to reach out to other communities because I didn't want to be like, I'm just hanging out in these communities to get steal their viewers. Right. I didn't ever want to come off that way. That whole want to like, oh, I don't deserve people hanging out. I don't want to come off and just do that. And it's never that. Like, if you're not putting yourself out there, you're actually depriving someone the opportunity to find someone they really enjoy. Because there's going to be someone that everyone has someone that they enjoy, a personality archetype. They have something. Every person out here is different, and someone else in the world is looking for you as a content creator. But if you're not making it easy to find you, you're depriving someone of a connection that they might have really needed. So you got to be supportive of yourself. You got to believe in what you're doing, because someone out there might need someone like you. You got to do your best. You got to believe in yourself, because if you can't do it for yourself, do it for the people you meet. Do it for the people you might come to know later. Believe in yourself for yourself and those around you.
Warm and fuzzy.
That for me ties into mine that I wish I did sooner. That was so beautifully said, Dan. I wish I had believed in myself sooner, because it took me, my 3 years anniversary of when I did my very first stream is in 2 weeks from today. And it took me 2 years to make a Discord. It took me a year to start going to other communities besides the first 3 which were huge streamers that I found. Like, I never went into small streams or anything. And I wish earlier I had like made sub badges and had a schedule and had a Discord for people to come find me. Like, even I think I was just so scared of like rejection or nobody joining that like I just didn't do it. And if I had done it from the beginning, I think it would have been a way different experience. And I wish earlier on I had just done all the things I could have to make my stream my own. And also, I wish I had been on camera sooner, because I think I didn't have a camera for the first like 8 to 10 months that I had streamed. And once I feel like having that camera on really made it a lot more personal for me too. So I wish I had just kind of had like a better setup, and it didn't take me 2 years to make sub badges.
So I have one thing I want to kind of add to that. Like, you don't necessarily have to have a camera, but here's how it helps and why. When people are like rating, especially like a bigger streamer, they want to see the reaction they get. Like, Carl rated me because no one was watching. I was playing Mario Maker and I had like 9 viewers, and Carl's like, "Oh, here's a small streamer." Like the stream that saved me. If I didn't have a webcam, I wouldn't have been rated, because he only rated people with webcams because he knew he was a big streamer and he wanted to get a response. He didn't care how many viewers they really had. He generally wanted to raid smaller streamers, but he also wanted to be like, it's that kind of like, it's that chaotic good. It's that chaotic good that let me cause mischief and trouble, but in a positive way. And oftentimes, and I'm going to segue into another story after this that kind of relates to this. You just need one light shown on you. It's so hard for you to find someone. Like, let me just find this object in a dark room where there's just no, you're just fumbling around looking for someone. Wouldn't you rather just go into another room and get an object that's like well lit up? Like with streaming, it's kind of like that. If you are only as visible as you make yourself be, you want yourself to be kind of a beacon. So having that camera is an opportunity for someone bigger to be like, oh, hey, I want to raid into the stream so I can see what their facial reaction. How are they going to act? What are they going to do? How are they going to respond when I bring in 1,000 freaking people? And I could barely talk. I was like, I was like, quick, pick up the guitar, sing a song. And that was my reaction. And now I'm Twitch partner. Like me panicking on, if I didn't have a camera, never would have happened. But you don't necessarily need to have one. It's just a little bit harder because you have to be entirely your own light. Carl shone a light on me that saved me. And there's a streamer who I'm like was like my best friend now, Trip Draws. After Carl raided me, I was looking for an artist, a streamer who did art, who had like 0 views. And I went into 7 different channels and I said hello to all these different artists. No one responded. Trip Draws was the first one that did. And I had a stream like a week later where like 30 viewers, I went and raided her. And she was kind of in the same boat. Like she was about to quit streaming forever. She was going to quit, but she just needed that one light. And then once that light was shown on her, and once again, she had a camera. I was kind of replicating Carl at that point, but she had a camera. I went to all these different streams. She was the only person that actually cared enough to, even though 0 people were in the chat, she was checking it constantly. So if anyone came in, they wouldn't feel left out or like they weren't important. And immediately I was like, all right, cool. And I rated her. And now she's like 20 something, 30 average viewers now. You know, like she went from 0 after years, 3 years of streaming to like 0 people to someone who's actually like known in the community now. And it just took one light. And it all started because she had a camera and she made me feel welcomed out of multiple people. All those other streamers, I bet you they either quit streaming or just still stream to 0 people and don't talk to their chat. But Trip Draws, she was just absolutely wonderful and kind and welcoming. And that I think that's the big thing, is just being welcoming, being there for people, not just for yourself, but putting yourself out there for people looking for someone like you, someone who can talk to you in a way that you want to be talked to. So if you're trying to get into streaming, line out what your goals are, what you want. I just want a community. I miss my brother. I miss my sisters. And I started streaming because I just wanted people around. I never expected to make this a job of any sort. But I'm glad that I get to do what I do.
You freaking rule, dude. You're the best.
You're inspirational, like really, really inspiring how you got to where you are today. I'm so thankful that we had you on.
Glad to be here.
Let's see. Next, let's see. We are gonna move into a little bit of self promo as we go ahead and end here. I guess I'll go ahead and start. Poncho Taco, you can find me at ponchotaco.com. It'll just take you to my Twitch page, but twitch.tv/Poncho Taco. That's primarily why I do stuff. I just kind of do live streams. That's what I'm doing. A lot of Mario Maker. Lately been playing Ocarina of Time for the first time in nearly 20 years with full crowd control turned on, which has been wild. I've been doing that on Friday nights, which has been a lot of fun. I just did it last night. Finally got past I don't know what temple it was. Ashley, which temple was it that I beat last night? I don't remember the name.
The Shadow Temple.
Shadow Temple. Okay, finally got through the Shadow Temple. And then I am doing some Elden Ring. So good time, having a good time over there. But that's it for me. I don't have any like huge things coming up on the horizon. Ashley, what about you?
Hello. You can find me at twitch.tv/Ashley with 2 E's_FL. Streaming Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday nights. It's always Super Mario Maker 2. And yes, I am the one who still streams Tears of the Kingdom, but very late at night after Mario Maker 2 on Thursdays and Saturdays, just sharing my experience there for a little bit longer until my 3-year stream, which is on the 24th of this month. I'm so excited. I'm doing a 12-hour stream, Saturday, June 24th, 12 to 12. Eastern time. You can also find me on YouTube, Twitter, same handle, and then I'm also on TikTok. It's Ashley with 2 E's_Florida, all spelled out.
Cheese Pops
I am
or TanukiDan.
I'm cool with whatever. It's cool. I'm a big fan of Cheese Pops. You should check them out at Cheese Pops. Twitch.tv.
There we go.
You're doing it better. Just do it. Just go. Just go.
It was so silent. I just didn't want to keep it silent. You go. You beat me. You do it. Cheese Pops. Help
All
me.
right. Check out my
drink this
YouTube.
water.
Well, that's good water drinking too. My
professional.
YouTube is actually has some good videos now. So all that hard work Dan mentioned earlier, editing, doing music, doing video, doing all that stuff. I do none of those things. But 2 people came out of the woodworks. Friendly Pet Dog and Juan Gamer have made some videos using my clips. It's actually good. It's actually good YouTube content. And because of all the stuff I put on there, no one is seeing it, and it makes me sad. So if you can check out my YouTube page, it's Cheese Pops with an extra piece somewhere. I'm sure you'll find it. Maybe not because of my terrible content, but they do amazing work on it, and I needed to shout them out. And then the 22nd, I'm doing a Minecraft charity stream. And if you're thinking, when was the last time I saw you play Minecraft? I don't know. It's not going to go well, but I'll do my best. But that's all I got.
Awesome. And TanukiDan, where can people find you?
You could find me in your heart. That's dumb. I'm twitch.tv/TanukiDan. I'm also on YouTube, just also TanukiDan. You're not going to believe this, but I'm also on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram as TanukiDan. I know it's ridiculous, but hold on, it gets weirder.
There's no way.
If you go to Twitter, I'm TanukiDan Show. There's like this dead Twitter in another language that was TanukiDan that I didn't know existed, that was made like 9 years ago. But besides that, I'm just TanukiDan. I play Mario Maker. I've been playing a lot. I generally specialize in I do lots of Mario, and then I do indie games, and then retro. And if there's something like Nintendo out that I'm really excited about, I'll play that. Except like Tears of the Kingdom. That's pretty much the only one. But I'm loving watching people play that. Like, I get why it's so loved. I get why it's so loved. It's just not for me, but I love watching people make stuff in it. I love all the creations and everything. But you'll generally see me playing tough games. You'll find me playing roguelikes. I love roguelikes. A game I'm going to be playing soon is going to be the actual retail release of Backpack Hero. It's a roguelike game where your main means of exploring and fighting is inventory management. It's absolutely wonderful, super good. If you'd like the Resident Evil or Diablo 2 inventory management, that being actually like how you progress and battle in the games, it's super cool. I'm not sure if it sounds terrible. Someone's like, that sounds awful, but no, it's really good. But but look for me playing more Mario Maker, roguelikes, and retro games. I stream every day except Wednesday and Sunday.
Assistant managers everywhere are so excited for that.
Yep.
Yes.
It's so good.
For our listeners, definitely go follow, go check out TanukiDan. Awesome guest here on the podcast. Absolutely awesome. For Arcade Parlor, all of our stuff, arcadeparlorcast.com is our website. landing page for all of our own Twitch channels. The Discord, you can jump on the Discord. You can drop voicemails in there if you want. You can chat about the episodes. Everybody's in there. Hop on into the Discord in there. Follow us on the social medias. We do have some big plans coming up. We are coming up on 1 year very soon of Arcade Parlor, coming up on 1 year. We're going to have some stuff to talk about probably in the next episode. So be on the lookout for that. We'll be putting it on social medias. We'll obviously be putting it on the podcast here. But with that said, I think this has been episode 10. Everybody, Ashley, Cheese Pops, TanukiDan, thank you for joining today.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having me here. It's been an absolute blast.
Always a ton of fun. Always a ton. And we had Dan. We had TanukiDan in the house. Let's go. It does not get better than that.
This is also our first live episode. I should also say for our listeners, this is our first live episode. It's at the beginning, twitch.tv/arcade parlor. We're going to start doing this going forward. Obviously as best as we can, but do follow us on here. We are live doing this the Saturday before release is what we typically aim for. Again, we'll have that all in the social medias and the Discord, everywhere there, when those dates are going to happen monthly. That's it. This has been episode 10. Everyone, thank you. Adios.
Bye.
Thank y'all. So farewell.
Bye.